How did you end up getting hooked up with Central State's Bob Geigel, and did Bob teach you as well?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Growing up in Kansas City, which is where I'm from, and the how I got to know Bob Geigel is growing up watching on television. See, the local station in Kansas City, Channel 41. They used to come on every Thursday night. And so that's how I got into watching Bob Geigel and how I got to know who he was. And he went to he went to Iowa. He was a Iowa Hawkeye. He wrestled there amateurly. And when I was in high school, I was highly recruited. I was on the news all the time because I was always in the sports, and I was in 3 different sports. I was All-American in wrestling, track, and football. And I was always on TV, on the news. And I didn't know it at the time, but Geigel used to follow me. And I was highly recruited by all the colleges in the country. And I went to football camp at Iowa for 2 summers in a row, football camp. And the whole time, in the back of my mind, I wanted to be a wrestler. So, long story short, when I was in college, right before I finished, I reached out to Geigel, and he knew who I was. And I was talking to him about wanting to get in the wrestling business, the whole 9 yards. Now, I was still in college then at Kansas State University playing football, And Steve Williams was there at Oklahoma, and I had a visit that was going to come up. I wanted to take, and it was Oklahoma playing K-State in Manhattan, Kansas. And at the time, Dr. Defty Williams, he was playing for Oklahoma, and he was a wrestler too, professionally, and he played college ball. So I was like, that's what I want to do: play football and college and wrestle. But I didn't know anybody, so he was the one I could talk to about getting into business, you see. So long story short, a visit came to where they were playing, Oklahoma was playing K-State in Manhattan, Kansas, you see. And so I chose that visit because I wanted to talk to Steve Williams about getting in the wrestling business, you see. So anyway, I go to the visit. Down the other end zone was Oklahoma football team. And I was like, I need to get down in that end zone so I can talk to Steve Williams and get some info on the wrestling business, you see. I had a plan. And so I'm moseying on down to the other end zone where they were warming up. And I talked to Steve Williams and I told him who I was. And he asked me where I was from. I said, I'm from Kansas City. And he goes, well, there's a promoter in Kansas City called Bob Geigel. You ought to look him up. So long story short, when I got done playing football, right before I got done, I ordered my gear. I knew this is what I wanted to do. I didn't care about pro ball. I wanted to be a wrestler. So I ordered my boots and my tights that I was going to use as a professional wrestler. I ain't got no trainer yet. So anyway, I thought about what Steve Williams told me. And once I got done with college, I pursued Bob Geigel. I called him up, see? And when he answered the phone, he already knew who the hell I was when I said my name. He goes, Curtis Hughes. He goes, yeah. I said, yes. He goes, yeah, I know who you are. He goes, you were highly recruited. You almost went to Iowa, blase, blase, blase. And I was like, yeah, I'm interested in becoming a wrestler. And I just want to know what I need to do about doing it, And he just told me, just come down to Memorial Hall. That's where they used to do all the gigs at, and all the big time stars used to come, from Andre the Giant to Harley Race to Flair. Everybody came to this building, and it was 3,000 seater, perfect venue to do shows. And I used to go there, and I used to buy a ticket and go just watch and stand by the stage and just watch the wrestlers, you see. And one day Geigel, when I called him, he knew who I was, and everything got set up. He told me to come to Memorial Hall, and him and Sonny Myers trained me, by the way. And that's how I got involved with Bob Geigel. He knew who I was. He you know, he liked real athletes. So actually, you know, he didn't charge me. Nobody. I got blessed, so I never got charged to get trained. They just taught. He just trained us. Matter of fact, Brian Clark, Atom Bomb, we trained by the same guy at the same time. So Geigel was an old school wrestler, and I wanted to learn the old school anyway. And so when I started training with Geigel, man, it was like a dream come true, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm obviously going to do the abridged version of all these questions, go through your career and everything, because we've only got about an hour. But something I'd really like to know is when you first started getting into the business around 87, did you realise that you were basically getting into the wrestling business at the worst possible time, with all the territories dying and only really two companies being viable in WWF and Jim Crockett Promotions?
Well, at the time, it didn't appear to me that there was something going on. Like the older guys probably knew, but being that I was just coming in, I didn't know that there was a transition going to just straight WWF and WCW. I didn't know that Vince was going to come in and just clean out all the territories, take all the champions and close shop on all the other territories, which I wish that never happened, but thank God I had an opportunity to get experience with that, experiencing with different territories, because it gave me a sense of how important it is when I train people of understanding psychology and learning how to wrestle and work holds instead of getting in there and doing a bunch of nothing with no psychology. You know what I mean?
With the AWA, that's sort of your second, well, maybe you could say your first or second sort of major promotion that you end up in. Did you ever wrestle in... Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, that was the big one. Yeah, that was my first break, actually, AWA, because it was on ESPN and it was worldwide. So I had opportunity to get exposure that way.
Yeah. Did you ever wrestle in the big pink room where there were no fans?
No. No. No, I didn't.
No, fair enough then. Talk about them.
Always had fans to work in front of,
Oh, well, do you know what I'm talking about then? This is sort of like maybe the last couple of sets of tapings where it's just a giant pink room, and they tried to explain no fans being there. They weren't buying tickets, and then they said, "Well, there's too many run-ins."
Well, that's like doing a studio taping, where there's only so many people you can let in. And they just do the TV taping, like they used to do back in the TBS days on Superstation. TBS, they had a little studio and have shows in there, and they just only bring so many fans in, and then they have have matches, like the old school way. Instead of renting a big old venue and trying to do a show, and they just keep it simple.
Yeah, you were obviously.
Of course, I like those days too.
The good old days, definitely.
Yeah, the good old days.
Verne Gagne. Most people have an impression of Verne Gagne, but Verne Gagne was a boss, especially in these last couple of years. I mean, did you sort of realise the AWA just wasn't there, going to last?
Yeah. Well, I got blessed because I got out of there before they actually closed shop. I got a break right before they closed shop in WCW. So it worked out pretty good for me, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to get to meet some people, some real important people that helped me along the way, like Sergeant Slaughter, and just a host of other people. So I'm kind of glad I actually had the opportunity to go that route. Plus, I had to get a chance to learn a lot of things and get to wrestle with different people. Just learn the ropes, basically. I can remember my first TV taping up in the AWA in Minnesota. I can remember going to the ring, and I'm doing my little shucking and jiving type of thing, junkyard dog dancing, Rufus R. Jones type of thing. And when I get to the ring, and I get in the ring, I can remember this like it was yesterday. The referee comes over, reaches out and shakes my hand and says, "Welcome to the big leagues, kid." Shakes my hand, and the rest is history after that. I mean, that's one thing I'll never forget, when that man shook my hand and said, "Welcome to the big leagues," because it kind of set the tone for the stage, I guess, for how my career was going to turn out.